From Eyewitness News, this is Newsmakers.
This weekend, as we observe Memorial Day, we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We also get the latest on Veterans Affairs in Rhode Island, including the opening of the new Veterans Home in Bristol and the launch of a first-in-the-nation benefits network portal for veterans, service members, and their families. Our guest on the first half of Newsmakers, Rhode Island Veterans Affairs Director, Kasim Yarn. Then, it's no longer a warning, put your phone down. Rhode Island goes hands-free while behind the wheel on June 1st. What you need to know about the state's new mobile device law. AAA's Diana on Monday on the second half of Newsmakers. Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. Joining me on the program from WPRI.com, Ted Nesi. Director Yarn, welcome back to the program. It is good to have you.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
As we said at the top of the program there, Memorial Day is to remember those who died in the line of duty for this country. And we sometimes hear in the newsroom from families of those who died while serving the country that they're frustrated because people confuse Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Do you hear that as well?
I do it sometimes as well. I simply make it, I like keeping it simple. Veterans Day centers on all of our veterans, past, present, and future, those that are currently serving. Memorial Day is uniquely different, dating back to the Civil War, talking about serving, honoring our fallen, those that have died on the battlefield, that didn't make it home, that are not able to celebrate the start of summer. And to also pinpoint focus on our Gold Star families, those that are the family members of those, the surviving members of those that or continue to bear the burden of the suffering for the loss of a loved one.
I want to play some video that videographer John Villela shot from here at Channel 12. It's volunteers setting up a boots on the ground memorial at Roger Williams Park in Providence. Tell us a little bit about this memorial.
So the group, Operation Stand Down, serving our veteran population for over 25 years. The founding members decided, hey, how best do we honor our fallen? One of the family members, partner, David Rothermel, he unfortunately, several members of his platoon tragically died on the battlefield, and he's one of the surviving members. And so that left a profound effect on him and his family. So how best do we honor that? So the memorial itself at Roger Williams Park centered on post 9/11, every service member that has died on the battlefield based on that war on terror. And over 70,000 boots are there with flags and the names of those service members, representing the true depiction of the cost of freedom, us as Americans. It's very humbling. If I get a little teary-eyed right now, please apologize, but it's tears of joy because serving 25 years, I know what it means. And when you look at those Gold Star family members, you touch them, you shed a tear with them, but they don't want any other member to join that organization. But you look at them, they always continue to volunteer, to talk about their fallen. And it's just truly humbling to be a director, to not only serve those that are currently serving, but to serve those that are served, and more importantly, serving our family members and caregivers, and especially our Gold Star families.
We've read a lot we've now been in Afghanistan for almost 17 years as a country.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, you have guys and women who come home and they lost people in their own platoons, they lost people right next to them in conflict, and this weekend those folks are remembered. Is this a particularly difficult weekend for veterans who were there with others who didn't come back?
I think so, but with difficulty underlines opportunity, enable us to come together to truly show who we are as a nation, that we care for our fallen, and we do that through Remember, Honor, and Teach. Remember them through the various memorials that we participate in over the weekend. We honor them through the social services that you mentioned about Rhode Island Service Network, our opening of our state-of-the-art facility, our Veterans Home, and continuing to fund and support our Exeter Cemetery. So those are virtues that we have, and through it all, remember, honor, and teach, but never forget, never let our children forget. And there are so many opportunities that we have to continue to educate our Rhode Island youth and to make sure that our fallen aren't never forgotten.
We see at Memorial Day services every year veterans who stand guard during taps and during the service. And I saw a stat the other day that we're losing about 300-something World War II veterans a day as that generation passes on. fewer than 3,000 still alive, they estimate, in Rhode Island. Do you notice that each year at the ceremonies, a smaller contingent of World War II
Small
vets?
contingent, but we honor them through our honor flight program, through the Fire Chiefs of Rhode Island. Matter of fact, we have a ceremony. We're going to send our heroes off to D.C. for the day in June 2nd. So we have a decreasing population in our World War II veteran, but also our population of the younger generation are starting to come back home, transitioning back. So in addition to loving and caring for our World War II vets, the full spectrum at the tail end of it are our younger generation that are transitioning back as well.
So you brought up the veterans. 2017 was a big year for your office. The Veterans Home opened. The state launched the RI Serves portal. Let's start with the Veterans Home.
Yes.
What is the capacity of the Veterans Home in Bristol? And do you have a sense as to the occupancy right now, how full it is?
So yes, so we have the total capacity of 208 veterans. We have 16 beds that are set aside for domicile beds. So those beds are the beds for veterans that are transitioning back, that need a home, that are potentially at risk of becoming homeless, or those that are homeless. We have the other group that are we're at capacity right now, 196, and so those of our veterans that have served. Majority are our World War II vets that you mentioned. 25% are our Korean War vets, which is the next big population, and then another 25% are our Vietnam vets.
So you said 196 right now?
196 total. That's the max. We're at max capacity in terms of residents.
Is there a waiting list?
Oh yes. So right now our waiting list is about 171 days.
Wow.
Who does the vet? Obviously, far from every veteran lives at the Veterans Home. Who? Some people won't be really familiar with who the Veterans Home exists to serve specifically in the veterans population. Can you talk a little bit of the mission specifically of the Veterans Home?
Oh, so absolutely. So in order to talk about now, let me look back, take a page back before we opened up the new home. So there was a time when it was Old Soldiers Home. We did some updates, and so now we launched, as of last year, our new home. But so the fundamental total game changer in terms of change we have before, I had a roommate, mandatory. So as a Navy guy, I was told I had to bunk with an Army person. So that could be kind of frustrating in some capacity. I'm told when I had to take a shower. Imagine that, America's hero, they told you how to take a shower. I'm told when I can have lunch at a certain time. We had one kitchen. And at 10:30 at night, regardless of who you were, you
sounds
had to
like
turn
you're
out the
back
lights.
in active service at that point,
Yeah,
right?
somewhat,
It's
somewhat.
military.
So now we turn the page. Single room occupancy. Each room has their own shower, restroom facilities. We have 7 kitchens, going from 1 kitchen to 7 kitchen facility. Phenomenal. We have, like I said, own shower facility. We have recreation facilities throughout the entire facility. 300-acre property. It is phenomenal. Total center of care. But this is based on the hearing from our veteran population. Our elderly veteran, war heroes, saying, hey, we need to be treated with dignity and respect, and getting away from the old institution-style military model to a community living, a neighborhood mentality.
From barracks to neighborhood, it
Absolutely.
sounds like. All right, now, so you have 200 people or so at the Veterans Home, but you're looking to serve a greater number of veterans, service members, and their families through a new RI Serves
yes, sir.
For veterans. What is that?
So it's a collective impact. No wrong door. Where if I walk through the halls here in this office facility, or I come to my office in Jefferson Boulevard, a community outreach where I get services to the veterans in a expedited manner. So for example, I have a need for housing, and so I come to an organization, well, based on my needs, I can't service that request. So I log into our network, and as a service provider, I submit that to my case managers. My case managers look at that request, and they, based on our list of providers that are in our network, they forward that request to that provider. That provider gets that request immediately. They look at the system, and they call that veteran in to set up, do a follow-up consultation with that service member. And within a timely manner, they get services that they needed.
What do you see, Kasim, as you work with the populations you do, what would you say is the biggest single challenge facing veterans in Rhode Island today? Or is it more you have to do it, by generation?
I think the big, by far, veterans not being enrolled in the VA healthcare system. For example, those that have committed suicide succumb to PTSD. The statistical studies show that overwhelmingly that those veterans that have succumbed to suicide were not enrolled in the VA healthcare system.
So you're not automatically, for those of us who didn't serve, you don't walk and get your papers when you're discharged and you're immediately in the VA. You have to go proactively get involved.
Absolutely. But we experienced that with our Vietnam era veterans through lack of trust for obvious reasons, because we failed them when they were on their watch as they were transitioning back. We see some of our modern day warriors that are coming back home because they're young, they feel like there are no issues whatsoever, so they're not enrolled in the VA healthcare system, which is precisely the exact opposite. We want all of our veterans, they've earned those rights, they should be enrolled in the VA healthcare system. So part of our job is to continue to educate both the veteran and the non-veteran and the family members to get your veteran to come in and talk to us, no matter what case it may be. But the beauty about our office is that when we ask one question, that may lead to a couple other questions to provide those various wraparound services, hence why the Rhode Island Service Initiative is so important, because you don't have to be the subject matter expert in every field, but because we have over 34 providers in our network, you can get that veteran and that family member to that subject matter expert. They can specialize in getting that care for that veteran.
You mentioned the VA. The VA has had some bad headlines in the last decade. Waiting lists. There were the problems at Walter Reed about a decade ago. How is the VA doing specifically in Rhode Island? What's the, what would its approval rating be, do you think, among the veterans in the state?
I think it's a high star rating, definitely. So when I first, a couple years ago, when I first was appointed, one of the first outreach events I had pleasure of going to was the Veterans Town Hall at the Providence VA Medical Center. There, under the leadership of Director McKenzie, she had an all-hands-on-deck approach. Everybody's there, open to the public, to listen to our veterans. They had case managers there, social workers. They had representatives from the Benefits Regional Office to veterans that weren't enrolled in the VA healthcare system. They can start the enrollment process. If there are veterans substantial healthcare issues in that capacity, they will have providers there standing by to assist them in that capacity. So I knew early on that we were on to something, to do the town halls. So ever since then, I've conducted various town halls to go to the municipalities inside the districts to listen to our veterans that don't necessarily want to have to drive all the way somewhere in that regard. And I applaud the effort from our VA Medical Center as well as our regional office to focus on the veteran first. And because we are a small state, we have that capability. So if a veteran has a question about an issue about the VA Medical Center, well, guess what? I can pick up the phone and call Director McKenzie and say, hey, we have a veteran with this issue. We have a claims appeal a veteran hadn't heard in a timely manner. Well, I can pick up the phone and call Director E.J. McQuaid and speak with him directly about, hey, what's going on with this veteran as it pertains to that issue. But every veteran that I've talked to, as it pertains to our medical center and regional office, has nothing but high regard, hold in high regard.
We have to go to a break pretty soon, so real quick, I think it was last year Rhode Island was looking to help more veterans get degrees by translating their military training and experience into academic credit. Where does that stand?
So we are partnering with our with Dr. Brenda Nesi. She was phenomenal, leading our post-secondary education. We had launched a summit a couple weeks ago where we had leadership from both Kansas and Minnesota to come in and to provide us some best practice, effective practices of how can we launch our program to better serve our veterans that are transitioning back. And we have the third series coming up in a couple of weeks, so we are making progress. We've got a long way to go, but we're making progress on that front.
You're out there a lot in the media and in the public, so people might forget that you are actually the first Director of Veterans Affairs for the state of Rhode Island. 2 years now, and as you pointed out before the show, this is your third Memorial Day in this position as Director. How long do you see yourself sticking around?
I serve at the will of the governor, and I do, my job dictates what our veterans do. I also believe regardless of what position I have to be a steward for the taxpayer. And I got to live the whole in high regard. It's a trust that's got to be earned, and each day I'm working towards continue to earn that trust.
All right, Kasim Yarn, Director of Rhode Island Veterans Affairs, thank you very much for joining us on the program. As we go to break, again from John Villela, a group of musicians have been gathering at the Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Exeter to play taps over the last 13 years. It's what's called the Echo Tap Ceremony. Check this out again from John Villela, and we'll be right back on Newsmakers. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. To my left, WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi, and our guest for the second half is Diana Amundi. She's a traffic safety programs manager at AAA Northeast and a spokesperson for AAA Northeast. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We have you here for a bunch of reasons, but let's start with June 1st. Police will be able to pull you over for talking on a handheld phone. The fine is $100.
Yes.
Now, newer cars have Bluetooth or CarPlay, whatever it might be, so they can drivers can interact hands-free with their phones. But there are a lot of older cars on the road out there right now. What are their options?
Certainly. So for vehicles without that Bluetooth technology, we can do a few different things. We can do headpieces. Only one ear, however, may be covered under Rhode Island law.
You can't wear the full headphones and
no earbuds, no headphones, but they do have devices that can even sync Bluetooth with a phone, and you can wear that as an earpiece. Certainly just speakerphone. We were giving out little clips that went into the vent of the vehicle, the air vents. Just affix the phone right there. You can use speakerphone. You are allowed to touch the screen.
People are worried about can I? What if my daughter calls? Can I press? You can answer.
You can answer. You can hang up. But that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know when you talk to local police leaders, they laud the new law and they vow enforcement. But
Certainly.
Where the rubber meets the road with troopers and officers on the road, what have we seen from other states in terms of enforcement?
Well, we have 16 states right now with similar laws banning a handheld phone. We've seen safety improve in those states. Really the big challenge, because as you know, we've had a texting ban for several years now. But put yourself in the place of a police officer driving by a vehicle. It's very difficult for them to discern whether someone's dialing a phone number or sending out a text, interacting with social media, something like that. So we really feel strongly that this law will help enforcement.
But there's still a gray area, isn't there? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we're using the GPS map on our phone, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to do that,
but we cannot, under this new law, we can't have that GPS unit in our hands. Even if our cell phone is just running GPS or maps, we can't hold on to it.
So that's I was wondering about that. So you can't, obviously we all know what, you just shouldn't be using your phone while you drive, period, for the most part, obviously. But, knowing how human nature is, so you can't even be holding it in this hand while you drive, looking down at people do at which road am I supposed to take next or whatever. That is covered.
Yeah, but we can put it in a mount. We can clip it to something else. There's magnets. There's a lot of little devices that can help.
What is best practice? What do you find is safest at AAA?
We actually find that the cognitive distraction that comes with a conversation really increases your risk even more than just worrying about hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. So in a perfect world, we'd like to limit all those distractions. It's not a perfect world.
Better not to talk on the phone at all, safety-wise.
Absolutely. The same part of your brain that controls vision is controlling speech. So just having that conversation is extremely distracting, and multitasking is a myth. We always say that.
What about teenagers and mobile devices?
I'm so glad that you raised that point, because there is a little bit of confusion around this new law. For 16 and 17-year-olds, there's still a complete ban. No cell phone use is allowed.
Even with Bluetooth or anything like that?
Correct, even with Bluetooth.
Probably smart.
Yeah. They're still the rookies. They've got a lot to learn. It takes about 5 years to become a safe driver. We know that from research. So, yeah.
I want to ask you about, I was struck when the Department of Transportation put out its annual statistics on fatalities. Right. We have seen a big spike in Rhode Island. We went from 45 traffic fatalities to 83 in 27. That's almost getting close to doubling. And for pedestrians, it went from 8 to 21 fatalities.
Increased about 25% for pedestrians.
Yeah, and so what does AAA think is causing such a large spike so fairly quickly?
Distractions in both cases. Impaired driving is certainly very high in our region, well above national statistics.
Would that mean DUIs and such?
Yes. Yep. So we're looking at impaired driving, but distraction, actually, the Rhode Island Department of Transportation recently hosted a conference with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that focused just on distractions and pedestrian safety, bringing those two topics together, which aren't usually, a conversation that we hear together, but those were the two standout statistics when we looked at the data.
Clearly, the pedestrian, the person driving a large machine, you would think bears more responsibility, but not putting blame on, but do you find that a pedestrian looking down at I'm guilty of it, looking down at their phone while they walk in the city or something can contribute?
Absolutely. Even in some cities, they have signs that they've put up on poles and things like that. They've actually padded poles in New York City in certain spots because people were walking into them looking down at their cell phones.
That is just a sad testament to what our grandparents said.
Right. So, we've got to be more alert, but certainly with pedestrian safety, it's not crossing in predictable places like at corners and crosswalks, people walking out between vehicles, and we have so many SUVs on the road too that they make for blind spots. So dark clothing too.
Do you think that we see people that the Apple's new things in your ears or AirPods are very popular? Do you folks think that could make people somewhat more aware? If pedestrians are more likely walking around just with something in their ears and not looking down?
Not looking down, yes. But like I said, even that cognitive distraction that comes with conversation, it's amazing what it does. We've done a lot of research out of the University of Utah with our AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety and sort of rigged skull caps and eye trackers to see where people's eyes are going when they're driving. And just that field of view narrows in so significantly. People are not scanning. And we have to believe that's true for pedestrians as well.
All right, let's talk about gas prices. They've gone up 25% in the last year, and for the first time since 2014, people are going to the pumps and they're seeing gas at $3 a gallon.
Yes, we just hit $3 in Rhode Island today.
Just in time for Memorial Day.
Yes.
What do you know? What a shock and a coincidence. What is behind the increase in prices?
Supply and demand. So January of 2017, OPEC made the decision to reduce production. There was sort of a glut of crude oil, and they made that decision. It's certainly geopolitical factors are having something to do with this as well. So
the U.S. fighting with Iran, then, is what you're talking
sanctions. We saw crude oil hit $71 a barrel last week. Went down a little bit today. We're at $69 a barrel today, but it's really all supply and demand.
I read somewhere that some analysts are thinking it could be back up to $100 a barrel. Do you think this is a Memorial Day spike, or are you seeing a long-term trend?
No, this is certainly a trend. We sort of saw this coming with OPEC's decision. We've actually seen gas prices increase about a penny a day. Even this past Monday, we're at $2.95. We're at $3 today, but slow and steady. And we don't see those prices going down at the pump, at least through the next 2 months.
You have to wonder if OPEC knows midterm elections are coming.
Right,
do you expect, are we nearing a plateau? It's going to go up and then stop? Or do you fear that you're going to just see it keep inching up until, I don't know where it goes?
It's very difficult to predict that, especially because OPEC's now saying, they may start producing more. But I don't think we're close to that plateau within the next few weeks.
Do you remember what did we peak at in I think in
2014
or in 2008 was when we hit the highest, right?
It was over $4 at one point. I believe it was $4.11.
$4.11 sounds right to me. I remember as a reporter
and like you
then.
said, like you said, for Memorial Day, we're at the highest point in 4 years. We were at $3.68 in 2014.
As recently as that.
Gallon.
So yeah, we're still not back to where we've been in the last at the peaks of last decade.
Do you think it'll dampen Memorial Day travel?
We have found through our research that it will not.
People are going to go regardless.
The economy is good. We actually did some math and we said, okay, what would be, from Providence, say, what would be the perfect Memorial Day family trip? So we kind of estimated, let's drive to Arlington National Cemetery. Let's figure out what gas would cost. Only a difference in about $30 from what we would have been paying last year at this time. That's not going to typically keep a family home. But we do see driving behaviors change when prices reach about $3 a gallon. People are just more careful about combining trips, not speeding, taking that extra weight.
Well, it's not just what you put in your car, right? Because this also affects for those who heat their home with oil.
Sure.
So that has a broad impact, and goods and services go up, right? Because
Absolutely.
tractor trailers
Well,
transport everything.
it's striking. I knew they were going up, especially also as a reporter, but filled up my car yesterday, and it was at nearly $40. And I feel like that's almost when it really hits you, is when you realize the total to fill up your tank has gone up a noticeable amount. I have a quick question on a different topic for you, which is, has AAA looked at all of this controversy about the speed cameras in Providence that's been such a discussion lately? And do you think in the long run it's going to do enough for safety that it's worth, getting through the bumps in the road, no pun intended, to get the program that has come so far?
I know it's been controversial, but you're talking to a traffic safety advocate here. Especially, we do a lot of work in schools around pedestrian safety. So personally, I feel that people shouldn't be speeding through school zones. That commute through through Providence in the morning, the things we all see, right? So I think it's actually raised awareness. It's worked to a certain extent. We've seen a sharp decrease in speeding through the city. So that's the trade-off, I suppose.
All right, Diana Imundi from AAA Northeast, thank you so much for joining us on the program. And don't forget, as you gather with friends and families for barbecues this weekend, take a moment and think about those who lost their lives in service of this country. For Ted Nesi, I'm Tim White. We'll see you next week on Newsmakers.